Greetings everyone, welcome back to another video, and we're back playing Katawa Shoujo. It feels like it's been forever since I've last played this game, but I wanted to get back into playing it, and because I don't really have any other games I have installed, I was gonna play Persona 3, but since I restarted my computer, I don't have Persona 3 installed right now. So, we're playing Katawa Shoujo, because it's only like 500 gigabytes. Either way. So, the morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I had trouble sleeping last night. There were simply too many things to think about. My mind refuses to slow down. Instead, I replay the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my head. There's a small part of my mind that is still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke. That I'll meet up with Emi at the track and she'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Pushing these thoughts to the back of my mind, I throw on running clothes and open the door. Okay, hold, I gotta readjust my TV. I can't see this, like that. Okay, that should be good. Emi's waiting for me with her usual smile. You're late, or at least you're not early today. Are you tired or something? I find myself ruefully rubbing the back of my head. Something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all. Emi giggles at the mild understatement. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, cause I wasn't early either. I wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face passes through my mind. What kept you up? Emi's expression falters, but she quickly notices my curiosity and forces a smile. Okay, I gotta move that over a bit, okay. Nothing important. She's obviously not telling me something. The question is, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her, but would it just come off as me being nosy? She's got to know I care about her though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I'm here to help you sort it out. Emi laughs then, but it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge of it that seems almost bitter. Sorted out? I'm not sure it can be sorted out, Hisao. I'm almost, an almost grim smile crosses her lips. It's like a smile of resignation. I don't think you could help me anyway. That hurts. I don't want to say that it hurts to her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you on the matter. But I'm here for you if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see the debate raging behind Emi's eyes. It seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Hey, forget about it for now, okay? We've got running to do. The mention of running, something that she can handle, brings Emi back to her usual self. Right. Hurry up and stretch, Hisao. We've got to get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Okay. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart is no longer important. Gotta click there. Okay. I find myself waiting to laugh, filled with the feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. The nurse's warning to not overdo things echo in mind, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk a heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me, but it is. Or rather, should it be? I've got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speech and endurance Emi's capable of, though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest. But for the first time, I ignore them. I accelerate to finish at a sprint, nearly catching up to Emi. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. Oh, sure. My leg feels like they're about to catch fire and I'm having trouble staying upright. But there's been a shift of some sort today. And it's all thanks to the girl, grinning at the finish line waiting for me. That felt a little faster than usual. My comment is met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going to go soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still feeling the high from the run and moved by a surge of gratitude, I seize Emmy in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Hisao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? And it's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I need a running partner, remember? I shake my head, still pointedly not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me with a quick, deepening blush that almost seems out of character. No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. Oh, did not mean to do that. If I hadn't shown up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? But it doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make it out a few times before the festival, and without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Hisao. Hey, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll piggyback somehow. Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know. I mean, I kinda like you, Hisao, and being able to run with you in the morning isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For someone who gets so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing, of the dampness of her clothes, and of the scent of her. Coming off of anyone else, it would stink. Coming off of Emily, it fits her, or Emily, not Emily. Coming off of Emmy, it fits her in a way nothing else could. Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and breeze causes goosebumps to rise. Almost while thinking about it, I lean down and meet Emmy's mouth, which has already moved to meet mine. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. The kiss ends and I finally let my arms drop back to my sides. Emmy is smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Hisao, we'd better go see the nurse. Then it happens. As she turns to begin walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emmy! I leap to steady her and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine. My expression must seem hurt because she hastened to apologize. Sorry. I didn't mean to push you like that. I was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered I decided to shrug the whole thing off. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach. Now that won't go away. I try to step in and help her, and she pushes me away. Smiling, I shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and concentrate on Emmy. I just don't want you to get hurt, that's all. You don't have to worry about me, honestly. I'm fine. Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you. Why won't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she gets offended by my trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track as we arrive in front of the nurse's office. Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me, smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I just remembered that I've got some stuff to take care of before class. So I really need to get moving. I peer at her closely as she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever. I said I'd help, and so I will. But I'll make damn sure she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay, I'll let him know. I mean, it looks like I've just given her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the best, Hisao. I am rewarded for my complicacy in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it. Or so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. Ah, Hisao, come in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say yes, she is. She's ill. She said that she forgot to do something and so had to skip out. But she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl, she's been avoiding me. Yesterday, she was in and out of here without even talking, or without even taking off her prosthetic, and now this. God, I just breathed in the wrong way. Frack. Well, at least it's just not me. Emi doesn't want worrying. That's comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow at the words last night. And what exactly were you two doing last night? We were, on a date. The nurse raises his eyebrow as if surprised. Really? Interesting. Oh, nothing. His gaze turns, thoughtful, and then he grins at me. You don't think you could, use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course. I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. Afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emi not allowed to run. Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good. Oh, and before I forgot, he grins at me again in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget I know what medications you're on. You be careful around Emi, got it? Wow, he looks serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emi. Wouldn't dream of it. Grand. I hate for you to be late. Huh? Late as in the late he sound Nakai? He frowns briefly, dissatisfied. Sounds better in my head. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You've got things to do, I'm sure. Shoot! As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Mako, your daughter's been a pain in the ass again. I'd better head back to my room, or I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? Exactly. The lunch bell sounds, and I bring myself out of the stupor I slipped into during the morning classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping stairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emi and Rin are still my friends, but Emi has become more than that now. Rin is back in her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Look at that. Look at that. She's just on the floor. Damn. Okay. Feeling better, I take it. I raise an eyebrow. A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Or better than you felt yesterday. Rin gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and that usually is pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, so I guess that's how I can, from being overtired. An eternal mystery to keep you sleeping at night? Maybe mystery's the wrong word. Intangibility might be the proper way to describe it. I see. No, I don't see at all. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay since I really do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday, do you remember what you felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emi. Doesn't Emi worry enough about herself? I hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns, and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. Is there something she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters. This seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It's hurt, and she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like, she makes me go to class for her own good. Otherwise, she could lose her legs again. And that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But that's a different kind of loss, isn't it? I think so. I wonder. Wonder what? Emi seems to have snuck up on Rin and me. Though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised, which is itself unsurprising, I suppose. Rin managed to sit herself upright quite expertly, throwing her upper body forward and using her momentum to right herself. Your leg, how's it feeling? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emi pouts like I've just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not a big deal, just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in exasperation. Can I even roll my eyes? I don't know. My eyes don't open up wide. Will they open up wide if I take my glasses? Yeah. Can I roll them? I don't know if I rolled them. I can't see because I rolled my eyes. No, my eyes were rolling, so I couldn't, see my eyes rolling on the model. But God, I should really look into getting contacts. Contacts can be a pain in the ass to put in and take out. I think putting them in will be easier. Taking them out will be a pain in the ass. Because with wearing my glasses, kind of make my eyes look squinted when because if I take them off, my eyes are open up like this, and they kind of track fine. But I put them on, and then now they're all squinted, and they don't track all that well. It's kind of annoying. Whatever. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emi narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe a little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make it worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know. Call me crazy, but I kind of would prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each segment, Emi's frown fades a little more, until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly. Well, if you're going to put it that way, then I guess I'll have to see him. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying, and then I'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right. I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the foodie, Sal? Okay. How's the food, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emi. Why am I saying that? Okay. How's your day, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emi. Hisao, I think I'm ready to go, although talk to the nurse, Emi. See, it doesn't work that well. Emi giggles at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice and gives me an affectionate shove. Well, I didn't really feel like giving her a voice there. Whatever. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I don't know how high your voice is because I can't hear your your voice. So whatever I'm giving you is what how you sound. Whatever. I thought it was pretty accurate. Okay. Cut that. Emi and I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emi crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. You're both jerks. Such vile calumnies for you, young woman. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Emi sticks her tongue out at me. You ass. So Rin, how is the art club these days? Rin seemingly as surprised by the sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. I believe it is okay. Although, Nomiya keeps telling me to work harder. But I don't think he understands my methods. He always struck me as slightly creepy. Rin ponders this statement for a while. I've never really noticed. You seem to not notice anything. You have no thought behind those eyes. But I don't pay much attention to him most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Think of joining Hisao? What? Nah, I've already decided to join a club. Really? Which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the tea club? No, I joined the science club, I think. Emi looks highly confused. We have a science club? Not really, it's just me. Hisao, that's not a club. That's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean, it's just me and Muto. I'm just the only student so far. Muto? Really? A thought strikes her. Oh, is that what you were talking about yesterday? Your meeting with Muto? Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Emi giggles. Nerd. Hey, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Hisao. Bro, what? I laugh, then realize this is probably one of the very rare times I've laughed about my heart attack. Hindsight. Yeah. The ringing of the bell ends our conversation. Guess we better go. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Rin, you too. Rin has apparently begun to doze off, so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class, I'll get it this time. Changing locations is sometimes helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Emmy or I both ask what it is. Okay. As we arrive at my classroom, Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway to Rin in tow. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo of Shizune and Misha. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Shizune's latest rant. While we are pleased, nay thrilled, to see how well you've managed to make new friends and forge relationships with such a cutie too, Hee-chan. I think that last part was probably Misha. We nevertheless feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Really? That's disappointing. Shik-chan, by Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook. In this case, however, ignorance is the law. May be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient, and the paperwork required to punish the both of you would only add to the already mountainous volume of work which confronts us, the sole members of the student council, and besides, you two are adorable together. Therefore, consider this a formal warning and please refrain from such displays in the future, as at least when at least when Shizune can see you, Hikchan. This whole spiel is so patiently ridiculous that I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I, for one, feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions, and will strive to contain my baser impulses, which I fear impel me towards such inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty matters, and will do my best to make your lives easier in this matter in the future. At least when Shizune is watching. This last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. Okay. Well said, Hikchan. Chuckling a little myself, we enter the classroom. Okay. Class is uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Muto again. So it looks like looks like we've all assembled for the second meeting of the science club. Or is it the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Muto smiles in his usual stilted and awkward way. I wonder if the muscles in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. You really do have a knack for this. I think logical thoughts process, that is. What? I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, so the answer is yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it, even if all we've got is a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain anyway, because we're the authorities on the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile at his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert on how the world works, if only because nobody can be sure with no certainty there are no experts. But we like to pretend sometimes. There's something we can be certain on, right? Right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Muto picks up a pencil and drops it. See, still there. But it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you'll still see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, Hisao. The whole time I've listened, feeling rather spellbound. Muto seems to really be passionate about this stuff. I think it's hard to tell sometimes how the world works, how humans work, how the universe works. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I could even figure out a way to fix my heart. That said, I think that's a real priority for me. Okay, besides, as we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. Yeah. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow or the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of grading to do. Okay, see you then. As I exit the classroom, I realize that I don't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats doing homework in my room anyway. Okay, the library always seems cooler than the rest of the building. Probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I've got several books that are so well worn, the pages are barely clinging to the spine. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care. I make my way to the main desk where I spot Yuko, busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and wave.
Hello, Hisao. Good to see you again. What are you doing what are you looking for this time?
Nothing in particular, I guess. I just didn't really feel like going back to my room, is all. Yuko nods.
Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe you could help me look for something?
Sure, what do you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around. Whatever the word might said. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers.
Come closer.
I take a few hesitant steps forward while feeling distinctly unnerved. Yuko lowers her voice to a confidential whisper.
I'm on the trail for the Yamaku cat burglar.
The what?
Shh. The walls here. The walls have ears, Hisao. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them?
Yeah?
Well, they weren't missing. They were stolen. I'm convinced of it.
I remember you saying something of the sort earlier, but now, how do you know? Yuko leans in closer and, if possible, whispers even lower.
Because I found one of its hiding places.
You did what? Yuko looks triumphant.
Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books I've been looking for all there. I suspected a thief before, but this proves it.
So did you take back the books? Yuko looks as if I've just suggested she walk around naked.
Are you nuts? You can't know I'm onto him. He might go to ground and invade capture.
So what do you need my help with then? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer.
You've got to spy for me.
Spy?
Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity.
What constitutes suspicious anyway? I mean, Kenji is pretty suspicious, dude. But I'll wager he barely goes to class, much less sneaks into the library to pilfer books. Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At the least, it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly.
Great! Now hurry up and talk about something else in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you?
Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with
Emi Ibarazaki, right?
Yeah? How'd you know?
I served you two in the tea house, remember? I deduced that if you were going to run with anyone, it'd probably be her.
She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings. And we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly.
Really? That's great! I'll bet you two are great together. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself when you walked into the Shanghai that one time, I wonder if that kid will wind up with one of those girls.
Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively.
Yup. I could tell that you'd wind up with one of them, you know? I've got an eye for that sort of thing.
Of course. Her expression droops slightly.
I'm not so good at it myself.
I'm sure that's not true.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I met this guy once, we got along really great, but it turns out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was really weird was that he disappeared one day and I've not seen him since then.
That does seem kind of odd.
Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did.
I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intend to try and calm her down further, but both of us jump in surprise at the ringing suddenly coming from my pocket. Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Emi, what's up?
Oh, thank God I haven't called your phone before. Oh, thank God. I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't think if this number would work, or whether you would pick up, and I can't.
Whoa there, Emi, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line, during which I can hear Emi trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me.
Can you stop by? Like now, or shortly after now? I really, really need to talk to you.
There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I've ever heard from her. Of course, I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agitated state, I've apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense.
Okay, I'll be okay.
See you soon. Okay. I pressed the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. Apologized to Yuko for running off and run off. Okay. Perhaps at some point, I would have stopped to think about the time or how suspicious it looked for a guy to enter the girl's dorm at this hour. Except right now, I'm just concerned with getting Emi to find out what's wrong and how I can help her. Okay. I knock on the door and am greeted with a subdued "come in." Something is very wrong as I stare at the scene before me. Emi's there, yes, but she's in a wheelchair, and her legs are missing. I glance around the room and see them sitting in the corner looking like they've been thrown there. Emi responds to my entrance with a lopsided grin that is both pleased to see me and completely, utterly heartbroken.
Hi, Hisao.
It looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she's stopped now. I notice that I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs two at a time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain though. I file this happy fact away for later consideration. Like when I am not staring somewhat dumbstruck my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Realizing I've still not responded to her greeting, my brain lurches into gear. I mean, what happened?
I guess I should have listened to you, Hisao. My legs got a nasty infection. I'm not allowed to run on it for at least a couple of weeks.
She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her.
I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crutch and kept one of my legs, but I didn't see the point. Why hop? You can't run on one leg. At least this way I can still, I don't know, roll fast or something.
Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look on the bright side seems appreciated, but not really effective. Emi shrugs again.
It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't even eat up on the roof now. No wheelchair access.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal, right? I mean, we can still eat together and that's the important thing. That lopsided grin again, it hurts to look at it.
I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in...
She thinks for a minute.
Maybe 7 years? Something like that, anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice.
Unfortunately, it's only temporary, right? I mean, odds.
Yeah, of course. It's not like I've lost them permanently, but it's a pain in the ass all the same.
I nod sympathetically. There's not much else I can do after all. What am I going to say? I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. But by the time I noticed, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything?
That is,
can I help with anything? Emi shakes her head and there's a bit of her usual grin back.
No, I can manage fine by myself. Although, if you wanted to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself.
I blush in spite of myself. Emi giggles.
You're such a prude, Hisao.
I'm not a prude. I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. I wheel Emi's chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It'd be rude of me to observe this aloud, of course. Man, you're kind of heavy. Smack. Emi hits me for a pillow. Ass. Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emi's grin falters slightly. Well, I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity. I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. Speaking of which, are you going to still be showing up in the mornings? I'd hate to run alone. Ah, shit. Emi's sudden interjection, more disquieted mutter than anything too profane, caused me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact that she's crying by covering her eyes with a hand. Of course, the subdued sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I can think of nothing else to say or do. How do you comfort someone who's just lost her legs again? Emi wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. Sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Hold up, I need to check something in here. Skip after choices, language section. Keep skipping after choices. Skip unread text. No. Okay, whatever. So, one thing that kind of confuses me is how Steam has so many games, so many games with the sus activity. But yet when Katawa Shoujo gets booted onto Steam, like ported onto Steam and stuff like that, they remove, they took out all of the sus scenes. Because I initially played Katawa Shoujo in the browser, but it's easier doing it in Steam because, for one, I can save just in case I ever delete the game. So I can come back and continue where I left off. So that's what happened, because I resetted my computer a couple of times, and I even moved over to a new computer, but I had to replay the entire game again. So it's just easier doing it on Steam. But Steam doesn't have any of the sus scenes. The whole playthrough with Lily, I had to blur it, which the uncensored version is still available. Funny enough, it's unlisted on my alt channel. The one that I'm currently doing my IRL stuff and non-anime related content. On that channel, you can check it out. Link in the description. That channel, the Lily video that's uncensored is currently unlisted. It's only available through the link in my in the description of the original video on this channel. You can go check my Katawa Shoujo playlist. But yeah, whatever. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest. I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? You'll get through this fine. I know it. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Emi lifts her head and stares at me with tears-stained eyes. Can you really? She's grinning lopsidedly and something sparkles in her gaze. I can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. What? Of course. I mean, sure, you're a bit heavy, but... My witty comment is cut off by the sudden press of Emi's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard and am rewarded by hitting my head on the wall behind her bed. Ow. Emi pulls back, trying to look concerned rather than like she's about to laugh. Are you okay? Sorry. I rub my head ruefully and grin back at her. Caught me off guard there. Off guard there. Is that going to be a habit? Am I going to be lectured by Shizune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emi giggles. Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'd be utterly confused as to why she's hanging around with someone so bossy. Which one are we talking about? You know exactly which one, Isao. Misha's hardly bossy. So what's the reason then? Okay. The reason why Misha hangs around Shizune. Emi waves my question off with a smile. No idea. I see. Anyway, you seem to be forgetting the original question, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize the points by rubbing at the back of my head. Emi giggles madly. You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do, you know. Or I could just take revenge. I grab a pillow from beside me and whack Emi over the head. Emi topples off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Arms promptly reappear on the bed and she managed to pull herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is turned downwards and away from mine. making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emi, are you okay? A hand shoots up and grabs my collar. She pulls me in with a sharp tug, her face now barely an inch away from mine as she grins cheekily. Emi? She gives me a sharp headbutt, our foreheads making quite a loud thud. Okay. I sit back up and rub my now sore head as Emi smirks victoriously. How's that for revenge? No fair. You can't take revenge for my revenge. For someone missing most of her legs, Emi's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she deftly rolls out of the way and lands hit with her pillow. Of course, the odds are against her. I can stand up for starters. The fuck is a chinchilla doing here? What is that? Is that a chinchilla? A capuchin squash. What is that? Why is that just there? Okay? That was random. That was very random. There's a live, like, I think chinchilla. I don't know. Damn. Okay. Well, she killed me. I think she killed me. Okay. The sunlight breaks through my window shortly before my alarm ruins the morning silence. Okay. I feel sore. The events of the previous evening suddenly intrudes upon my consciousness, and I feel myself blushing. That was an eventful evening, and explains perfectly the soreness in my lower back. Yep. The walk back, as I recall, had been rather tense. Fortunately for me, the only person I ran into on my way back was Kenji. I didn't notice a thing. Well, apart from me being in the general vicinity. Of course, he asked how the night went and whether or not I'd learned anything of importance. I don't even know if I opened my mouth to answer. I was too tired to care. And this morning, I'll admit that I'm feeling pretty worn out. Still, Emi had promised to meet me at the track, and I'd hate to disappoint. She is indeed waiting for me when I arrive. Hey, crippled! Doing her best to look cheery despite the fact that she's sitting in a wheelchair. I wave to her and begin stretching. You're early, Hisao. Emi frowns and shakes her head. Ridiculous. You're late. Overslept, Hisao? All tuckered out? Well, at least she seems more like her old self. And as expected, she doesn't seem that shy about mentioning our previous activities. Hey, you're lucky I could show up at all. All that cardiovascular activity last night, I nearly thought I'd have to see the nurse afterwards. I see. Emi laughs out loud, then her face suddenly becomes concerned. Hey, that's not, you're not. Go on, spit it out. It's just that it would be hard to explain if you had an episode while we were... Oh. Yeah, that's why they showed the chinchilla, because, stuff happened. They showed the chinchilla. Whatever. It's easier for me, to, so I don't have to censor it, but I still would have preferred to, yeah, whatever. I certainly hadn't thought of it last night, of course, other than pressing concerns had been at hand. Well, I don't think anything we do is going to be any more of a strain than these morning runs, and I handled those fine, so... Emi considers this point. A devious light appears in her eyes. Why are you smirking like that? Why are you smirking like that, bro? I'm gonna hide that, I gotta put this in the thumbnail, because it's funny. Just smirking. Say. The light vanishes, and Emi grins ruefully at me. I can't help but feel vaguely suspicious. I seem to have forgotten a pair of gloves. What do you need gloves for? Emi indicates the chair upon which she is seated. For this, of course. Sure, regular moving around is all well and good without them, but I want to be able to get a good workout. And to get that kind of speed, you gotta have gloves if you don't want blisters. So what are you wussing out on me then? Do I have to go alone? Emi thinks for a minute, or pretends to think. If I remember right, there's a spare pair or two in the track shed. So she does seriously want to do it then. But in her normal school uniform, I'd have expected her to wear her gym outfit or something like that. Wait, what are they doing there? Emi looks askance. Seriously, you can't think of why a shed full of... God damn it. Seriously, you can't think of why a shed full of track supplies at a school for the disabled would have racing gloves? Well, when she puts it that way, I suppose that makes perfect sense. Hey, I'm getting used to this place. Give me a break, huh? I guess I can let that slide this time. Now, come on, I'll need your help.
I can't imagine what for, but then again, I didn't have a clue why racing gloves would be in the shed, so I'm not willing to press the issue. Emi navigates her way to the shed easily enough, though I can hear her grumbling underneath her breath. It's actually kind of cute. I hurry a little to reach the door first. Opening would be easier for me than her. The door opens, and Emi starts to wheel inside, only to come to a sudden halt at the doorway. It seems the door still is slightly too high for her to get over by herself. She makes a few runs at it, unsuccessful, before crossing her eyes and glaring at the offended object. Stupid wheelchair. Isao, can you give me a hand here? Sure, no problem. Damn, this place is a mess. It's a simple enough matter for me to bump Emi over the doorway, jostling her slightly? What? Hey, easy there. Oops, sorry. It's all about the time that I fail to notice where I'm going to run Emi's chair into a mat. She gives a startled yelp and topples forward out of her chair. There's a moment of silence as I gaze in horror upon what I've done, and Emi glares at me. Hisao! Yes? Promise me you'll never work at a hospital. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Emi giggles and holds up a hand. Would you kindly help me back into my chair, Hisao? As I bend down to pick up Emi, she grins in triumphant and pulls me into a kiss. That quickly has us both entirely unconcerned about getting her back into the wheelchair. In fact, as I move to a more comfortable position, I confess that the chair is pushed out the door, which startled by the passage swings shut. Okay. More melons. More melons. More melons. Who's there? That's not how the joke goes at all. I already said who's there. More importantly, what time is it? Even more importantly, what day? I am suddenly catapulted into wakefulness by both the fact that the knocking still hasn't stopped and the fact that it's noon on a school day. Now fully awake, I can remember why I was napping. Better not give that excuse to Muto. I wonder how long this knocking is going to continue. Guess I ought to answer the door. I'm strangely unsurprised to see Kenji on the other side. Okay, it's a school day. So why are you knocking on my door? Wouldn't you have thought that I'm at school? You know, doing schooly things? Though it appears that Kenji is surprised to see me. Okay, here we go again.
What the hell are you doing here, man?
Well, I was sleeping. Kenji nods in understanding.
Knocked out, I see. I told you to be careful around that Ibarazaki chick, man. This is the sort of thing that happens when you aren't cautious.
He makes an attempt to look at the back of my head.
Did she hit you with something? Or was it a drug?
Stop trying to touch me. Kenji produces a flashlight and shines it in my eyes.
You got a concussion?
I wasn't knocked out.
Maybe you just don't remember.
This conversation isn't going anywhere. No, I just had a tiring morning and fell asleep.
Whatever, man. If you want to be in denial about this, I guess I can't stop you. But you gotta watch out for that girl, man. She's not safe.
What?
She's not safe to be around. She's one of the most sinister agents. If you're not careful, there's no telling what could happen. She's brought down stronger men than you know.
What the hell are you talking about? She's not an agent or anything. She didn't knock me out, okay? I also highly doubt she's brought down anyone at all. Kenji looks almost offended. I have no idea why.
You don't believe me? That's cold, man. Real cold. I'm just trying to look out for you. That's what friends do, you know.
We're friends? I had no idea. Then again, I wonder if Kenji knows what being a friend even entails. I feel something like pity for him, standing there before me. Maybe he does think he's looking out for me. I know. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for the warning. I hold out my hand as a sign of peace. Kenji shakes it gingerly, like my hand could possibly be on fire. There's an awkward silence for a moment, or for a few seconds before Kenji remembers that he's still shaking my hand.
Anyway, I need a favor.
What kind of favor? I'm out of money, okay?
No, you aren't. You've got money. Kept in your desk drawer under a black notebook for emergencies.
Did you ransack my room?
That's not important. I don't need money anyway.
He adopts a very serious tone.
I'm about to undertake a major op. It'll blow the whole conspiracy wide open if I'm right. But it's dangerous, so I need you to do something for me in case I don't come back.
Sure, man, anything. What the hell is he planning to do?
Should I be telling someone about this?
If I go missing, wait 3 days and then mail my journal off to the newspapers. It's hidden in my room under a false bottom in one of my desk drawers.
How do I get into your room? I don't have a key. Kenji looks at me like I'm crazy.
So pick the lock. You know how to do that, right? It's an important skill to learn at a young age.
Yeah, of course I know how. I'll be sure to do that for you if you go missing. I don't think I want to read Kenji's journal. Either way, Kenji seems pretty happy that I've agreed to do this thing for him.
Great, man, great! I'll see you around. I got stuff to do.
And he's gone, dashing down the hallway. He made it seem so final. I hope I don't have to carry out his final wishes. Shaking my head, I close my door and walk back to my bed. Guess I should go to class, if only to catch the last half of the day. But I've come this far without going to class today. And I did want to read more of that Hawking book Muto lent me. I'm sure you'll understand. Okay. Man, who's knocking? This time the noise jerks my attention away from my book. An experience not unlike being woken up. Who's there?
Me, aren't you glad?
The voice is muffled through the door, but unmistakably Emi's. I hop up and open the door, smiling broadly. Nice! Or hey, nice to see you again. Emi grins back, staring up at me from her wheelchair.
Yeah, you would have seen me earlier, but the damned elevator wasn't working.
Okay.
Had to wait for them to fix it. You'd think they could keep it in better order, but no.
I chuckle a bit at her vexed expression and invite her in. She wheels in easily and with my help, she hops onto my bed.
They're much more comfortable than that stupid chair.
A sigh of contentment hangs in the air, and for a minute, we both just stare at one another. It's all the point that I notice the circles under Emi's eyes. They're not that dark, but they definitely weren't there before. Before I can ask about them, Emi fixes me with a mischievous stare.
So I couldn't help but notice you weren't at lunch today. In fact, I don't think I saw you at all. What happened?
Fell asleep. I actually didn't wake up until lunch, and only then because Kenji woke me up.
What had you so tired?
This is Trunia's workout this morning, slightly uncomfortable too. Emi coughs a half laugh, half embarrassed noise.
Reminds me not to do that again.
No problem, it wasn't exactly great for me either, to be honest. Well, just avoid that from now on. Are you still sore? Emi stares at me in disbelief. What? It's a legitimate question.
Of all the questions, I never thought I'd be asked that one. That's one of them.
Well, I didn't ever expect to have to ask it, so we're even. Emi laughs at this.
I guess so, huh? Well, since you asked, yes, I'm still a little sore. We're never doing that again.
No arguments from here. A yawn escapes her, and I raise an eyebrow. Tired? Emi nods sleepily.
Haven't slept well.
Not sleeping well? I can tell that she didn't mean to tell me this either, because she gives a little stare like she's just been caught lying and hastens to add.
It's not a big deal, though.
What's the trouble? Emi shrugs and refuses to elaborate. Stressed over exams? Another shrug, but after a pause, Emi nods hesitantly.
Yeah, I guess. Actually, that's why I stopped by.
She begins to look more and more miserable. Not so you'd notice, of course, but her eyes are on her lap. She's fidgeting and her voice is quiet.
Well, we need to stop hanging out so much.
Why? Emi takes a deep breath, like she's been practicing this.
Because you're too much fun to be around. And I can't concentrate when you're near me. With exams coming up, I just can't have that distraction. Otherwise, my grades will be pretty lousy, I'm afraid.
I can help you study. She smiles at me, clearly unhappy with the situation.
I'd love it if you could, but we wouldn't actually study, would we? I mean, even now I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but I kind of just want to, not converse.
Overwhelmed by my rugged manliness, I understand. That earns me a grin at least. Emi shakes her head.
Idiot, you're full of yourself.
Well, I am pretty irresistible.
More or less, I guess. So that's the situation, Isao. I have too much fun around you, and if I'm going to go into exams prepared, I need to be alone.
Hey, that's okay. It really seems to have been bothering her. Besides, It's only a couple of weeks, and we'll still see each other in the mornings and at lunch. We can just hang out at school, no problem. And after exams, we'll go on a date to celebrate their being over, okay? Emmy grins, pleased by the proposal.
Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
Okay. As if to signal the end of the conversation, she leans in and kisses me. The rest of the night is not spent worrying about exams. Okay, cool. Doom, boom, 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 boom. Okay. It's weird how easily Emmy and I can keep from seeing one another after class now. Actually, I'd venture to say that it's vaguely disturbing. As easily as we'd come together, we seem to have split apart without much trouble. I guess it's not exactly true. We'd both been pretty bummed after that last night together. And we get to see each other every morning for our runs, and just our runs, I might add. Lunch too. I especially enjoy lunchtime with her. We have plenty of time to talk about everything outside of school, whereas the morning runs have become increasingly busy-like. I think it's because Emmy wants to make up for our foolery in the storage shed. But no matter how much we joke at lunch, I can't help feeling a little worried about her. She seems distracted more often, and I've caught her fidgeting nervously more than once. I never figured her to be someone who cared that deeply about exams, but they certainly seem to be taking their toll, even though they haven't even started. This is just the run-up and a deep breath before the plunge. Tomorrow, the real trial begins. Or the real exams, anyway. As for me, I actually don't feel that worried about exams at all. I'm not sure why. I mean, they're pretty important. My scores here will determine my odds of getting into a good university. Hell, if I'm too cavalier now it could spell doom for my academic career. But going into them, I feel confident that I'll come out the other side, okay? Okay. Muto thinks I've got the science examination locked up at any rate. Or as he says, the last thing that should give you trouble is my exam, Hisao. It's way beneath your talents. Then again, it is Muto who's telling me this. His praises of me carries the veiled implications that anything less than perfection from me would be disappointment, which has actually caused me to fret more than I should about the exam. It's for that reason that I find myself in the library after class, poring over the textbooks. Pretty simple things to look over, some formulas of velocity, a few bits about friction. I walk in the park compared to my dreading English exam. Never was good with language. As I flip through my notes one more time, my mind begins to wander. After these exams are over, things should get easier. Soon we'll be graduated. Then off to college, hopefully. I remember my abortive attempt to find out what Emmy plans to do after high school. She avoided the subject pretty deftly, as I recall. Heck, it seems that just about every time I push too hard, she dances around the subject or distracts me through other means. Like a few days ago, my lunch with Rin wasn't around. When Rin was around,
I've done it!
I'm startled from my reverie by Yuko's triumphant shout. Gah! Yuko seems mortified at my sudden startling.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I just got... And I really wasn't, and it's just that...
As she stutters, I move to quickly calm her down before she gets too agitated. Whoa, hey. My words seem ineffective. Yuko continues to work herself into a complete frenzy.
And it's a library and I shouldn't be...
Easy there, just calm down.
And really, I'm setting a bad example, and now I'll get fired because I can't do anything right.
Yuko! Shouting seems to work, though I draw the ear of several other students studying in the library. Yuko snaps to attention like a soldier who's just heard the captain bark an order.
Sorry.
Calm down, it's okay. You just startled me a little, and that's only because I was daydreaming instead of studying. So really, you got me back on task. This is a complete lie, but it seems to work. Yuko takes a deep breath and seems to calm down a little, though she seems shifting around with a nervous energy that seems awfully familiar. So what are you so excited about?
The Yamaku cat burglar.
To her credit, Yuko manages to convey her intense excitement in a whisper.
I think I know who it is. I got an anonymous tip as to their identity. So I did some spying,
and think the tipster was right. Really, and who was this burglar? Yuko shuts her mouth, shaking her head decisively. Nope, I can't tell you that. Why not? It's between me and the burglar. I can't risk you warning him that I'm on to his game. He could tip his hand early and blow town. Then I'm left with no perp. When did Yuko start talking like a hard-boiled detective? I wouldn't warn them. Why would I care? If you've got to ask that question, then you don't need to know. That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Congratulations, I guess. Thanks. For what? The, cab burglar thing? Yuko nods and smiles appreciatively. So, studying for exams? Well, that was the plan. I'm not having much luck, though. Really? Is it because you can't find a book? I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to clean the shelf for a week now, but I keep getting distracted. So sorry. Oh, wait. It's not that I've got a book right here. To illustrate the point and hopefully calm Yuko down, I show her the textbook in front of me. Mine just keeps wandering is all. Is it because of the noise in here? I'm trying to be more strict about the noise level, but I can't bring myself to yell at people. I mean, aren't their lives hard enough without me throwing my authority around? No, it's not the noise level either, I promise. I'm just, I don't know, worried about Emmy, worried about us, worried about what happens after we graduate. Emmy's been kind of weird lately. What do you mean? Well, you know how we're dating now. I just don't know that we're actually, a couple, or at least I don't know that we're beyond friends. Bro, though friends normally don't do the sort of thing we do. Physically, we're a coupling at least. It's like every time I try to find out more about her, or about what she wants to do with her life, she dodges the question. Like the other day, I was talking to her at lunch about some schools I've been looking into. And I asked her, have you looked into any schools lately? She shrugs in response, says no, and when I asked why not, she says she doesn't think that far ahead. I asked why she had that policy, and she suddenly realized what I'm about to start describing and wisely decides to climb up. She what? She changed the subject. I wouldn't talk about it. Maybe it's an uncomfortable subject for her. Or she doesn't think it needs explaining. Yeah, but it's not just that. Every time I try to find out what's been bothering her, she changes the subject too. It's like she's being with me, but not getting close to me. Now that I've said it out loud, I feel worse. You could digest this bit of information. It seems to me that you're more serious about this than she is. I can almost feel my stomach twist into a knot. She's right. It's exactly what it seems like. But is that really what's going on? I mean, sorry, I'm just talking nonsense. You shouldn't take my advice. You barely know me. I'm just a librarian, and I'm single, so you can imagine. I can't know what I'm talking about. I think you have a point. As much as it hurts to even consider it, Yuko seems to try desperately to find a way to soften the blow somewhat. Look, I'm probably wrong, but if you want to be sure of how obviously wrong I am, maybe you should just talk to her. Get some time alone and just ask about it. And don't let her change the subject either. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should just enjoy what I have. We have fun hanging out, after all. And the runs are nice, and the other activities are nice, and talking to her is nice. Do I really need to get closer to her? What I've got now is pretty good. But that's silly. I want to get closer to her. I want to be able to help her out whenever with whatever is bothering her. Maybe I should wait until after exams are over. Maybe she'll brighten up once the stress has passed. If she does, then I don't need to worry about it anymore. But if she doesn't, well, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I thank Yuko for her advice and head back to my room. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate more on my studies in there. Okay. It's the end of the day. That is the end of the day. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Let me save. Let me create a new save state. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna end the video here. Playtime is 3 hours. Great. But so I'm gonna end the video here. It's already past an hour long, and yeah, this is a pretty fun game. You know, we did the stuff that has something to do with chinchillas and melons. But whatever. Subscribe. You know, tell other people to subscribe and check out my channel so I can pay my college tuition. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and bye bye.